Okay, today we have a Kubota BX23 neutral safety switch. It's one of 3 switches in the starter circuit that will keep the Kubota from starting if it's not working properly or the shift is in the incorrect position. There's 2 other switches. One is on the speed control pedal and the other is on the PTO lever on the other side. So if any of those 3 switches are open or not properly in the proper position, the Kubota will not start. In this case, mine was failing and I had to shake the shift lever to get it to start. It was getting worse and worse. So finally today I took it off. I have to work with it this weekend, so I wanted to make sure it was going to work okay. So I took it apart and I found that the shift, all it was is the that gray shift or gray switch that you see right there was full of dust. And if you look more closely, I'll push it in. When I push it in and I blew compressed air in there, dust came out on all sides, and I just kept doing that and blew out all the dust that was in it. And after I did that, I hooked it up to a meter, and this is just a cheap Harbor Freight ohm meter that I got, or multimeter actually, and I just got it on ohms. And you can get those for free, these meters down at Harbor Freight. They give them away on certain days. You look in the Harbor Freight flyers that they send you in the mail if you're near a Harbor Freight store, and you get one of these meters for free, or very inexpensive. They're cheap and they're handy to have. But you can see now, when the plunger is out like it is now, the meter's reading 1. All right, but now if I push the plunger in, see if I can get it so you can see both. Okay. Now I'm going to push the plunger in, and you'll see the meter drop immediately when I do that. See, the meter goes down to 0. So that switch is now, it's working properly. Before, it wasn't changing. The contacts were so dirty and full of dust that it wasn't working. So I'm going to replace the switch, but I just don't have time today to go down and get one. So I want to get the tractor going. But the switch, I priced it out at Kubota, the local dealer. It's only $8. So it's not that inexpensive. So and now that I've got this out, it'd be pretty easy to change. But again, for me to drive down to the dealer is more work than that. So I'll just go and buy one. Next time I'm down there, I'll have it on hand for a spare. And in the meantime, I'm going to get this thing back and running today. So, and to get this off, to get this bracket off where this is, if you take off your right side tire, you'll be looking right at this. This piece right here is where your shift lever attaches to. Okay, your shift linkage will attach right to there. It's got a bar that slides in there. You'll see it when you take the wheel off, and it looks like you can't get it off without taking the whole shift off, but you can, because all you have to do is take these 2 bolts out, and this moves enough where you can manipulate this thing, bracket up here, and it'll go into this hole, and then that'll come right off and allow you to get that out, because this is in a hole. A pin goes in this hole. It will only come off. Otherwise, unless you take the whole shift out, there's a roll pin you'd have to drive out, and then you'd pull the whole shift off. But you don't have to do that. You just take these 2 bolts here, which I think are 12 millimeter. You got to take off the seat belt anchor to get to these, which is another 2 12 millimeter bolts. And then this basically just pops right out, and you're off and running. It's about maybe a 15-20 minute job, and you got to take the wheel off, so you can use the outriggers on the Kubota if you have the backhoe on to jack it up. So jack it up with the outrigger, put a block under it for safety. Take the wheel off, pull those 2 bolts out. After you take the seatbelt anchor out, this comes right out. If you want to replace it, replace it. Otherwise, just blow it out with some air. Probably be full of dust like mine was, and then you should be off and running. Okay, hope this helps somebody.